You cut the sugar. You gave up the late-night snacks. You started walking every single morning, even on the days when your knees ached and the weather was bad and every part of you just wanted to stay in bed. You're eating salads when everyone else is eating pizza. You're reading labels. You're trying, and yet your belly? Still there. Maybe even a little bigger than last year. If that's you, please stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you changes everything. And I promise, by the end of this video, you are going to finally understand why this is happening and what you can actually do about it. Welcome back. If you're watching this channel for the first time, welcome. We make these videos specifically for people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond who are tired of getting health advice that was clearly written for a 28-year-old. If you're over 50 and you feel like your body just stopped cooperating with you, you are not imagining things. Something genuinely changed. And more importantly, it is not your fault. Today, we're going to talk about the real reason your belly fat won't budge, even when you are putting in the work. It's not about willpower. It's not simply about eating less. There is a hidden hormonal reason that most doctors won't even bring up at your annual checkup. And once you understand it, everything will start to make sense. So stay until the end. I'm going to give you real science explained simply, real stories from real people, and 5 practical steps you can start using this week. Let's get into it. Let's start with something that might sting a little. For most of your life, you were told the same thing. Eat less, move more. That's how you lose weight. Simple math, they said. Calories in, calories out. And for a while, maybe in your 30s or early 40s, that worked. You'd skip dessert for 2 weeks and drop 5 pounds. You'd go for a jog on the weekend and feel leaner by Monday. The system seemed to work, but something happened. Somewhere around 50, the rules changed. The same effort produced different or worse, 0 results. And no one told you that was coming. No doctor sat you down and said, hey, your body is entering a completely different hormonal phase, and the strategies that worked before are going to feel like pushing a boulder uphill. Nobody said that. So you kept doing what worked before, and you blamed yourself when it stopped working. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 57, lives in Nashville, Tennessee. She's a retired school teacher, grandmother of 3, and one of the most disciplined people I've ever heard of. Last year, she decided she was going to finally do it. She joined a morning walking group in her neighborhood. She started meal prepping on Sundays, grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, brown rice, the whole thing. She gave up her evening glass of wine. She downloaded a calorie counting app and hit her targets almost every single day. She was more committed to her health than she had been in 20 years. 3 months later, she stepped on the scale and she had lost 2 pounds. Not 20, not 10, 2 pounds. In 3 months of consistent, dedicated effort. And here's the part that breaks my heart. Margaret thought something was wrong with her. She thought she was weak. She thought she just didn't try hard enough. She started skipping lunch. She started walking twice a day. She was running herself into the ground, trying to crack a code she'd never been given. But here's the truth. Margaret was not broken. Margaret's body had changed. And that change has a name. It's called the hormonal metabolic shift, and it happens to virtually everyone after 50. Your body is now operating under a completely different hormonal rulebook. The same calorie math simply does not apply the same way anymore. And the biggest hidden player in this game? A hormone called cortisol. Let's talk science, but I'm going to keep it simple, because this stuff doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be understood. When you're stressed, even low-level everyday stress, the kind most of us barely notice anymore, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's ancient alarm system. It was designed to help your ancestors survive predators, floods, famine. It's powerful, it's necessary, and in short bursts, it's actually healthy. But here's the problem. Cortisol tells your body to store fat, and specifically, it stores it right in your belly, right around your midsection. Why the belly? Because the fat stored near your organs is the fastest for your body to access in an emergency. Your body is trying to be smart. It's keeping your emergency fuel tank right in the center, where it can grab it quickly if it needs to run from danger. Your body doesn't know you're not being chased by a bear. It doesn't know that the danger is your boss's email or the news or worrying about your health insurance. To your body, stress is stress. And stress means, hold on to that belly fat. We might need it. Now here's what makes this even more frustrating for people over 50. As you age, your cortisol levels naturally stay elevated longer after a stressful event. In your 30s, you'd get stressed, cortisol would spike, and within a few hours it would come back down. your body would recover quickly. In your 50s and beyond, it spikes, and it kind of just hangs around. It doesn't come back down as fast. So your body spends more hours of the day in a low-level stress state, even if you feel totally calm on the outside. And then there are two other hormones we need to talk about: estrogen and testosterone. Both drop dramatically after 50 in women and in men. These hormones play a huge role in helping your body use fat for energy. When estrogen drops in women after menopause, the body tends to shift fat storage from the hips and thighs to the abdomen. When testosterone drops in men, muscle mass decreases and the belly tends to grow. So you've got declining fat-burning hormones and elevated cortisol. But here's the cruelest part of all. Low estrogen actually increases your body's sensitivity to cortisol, meaning your body overreacts to stress even more than it used to. A stressful conversation that might have barely registered at 40 can now send your cortisol through the roof. So you're walking, you're dieting, you're trying, but you're also stressed about your health, your family, your finances, your future. You're carrying worry. You're not sleeping well. Your body is in a low-grade, constant state of alarm, and your belly pays the price. This isn't weakness. This isn't failure. This is biology. And once you understand it, you can finally start working with your body instead of fighting against it. Let me ask you something personal right now, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. How well are you sleeping? Because here's what most people don't realize. Sleep is one of the most powerful metabolic levers you have after 50. Maybe the most powerful. And it is completely free. When you sleep poorly, even just 1 or 2 bad nights in a row, a cascade of hormonal changes happens in your body. Your cortisol goes up the next day. Your hunger hormone, called ghrelin, surges. Your cravings for carbohydrates, sugar, and salty snacks skyrocket. And your fullness hormone, leptin, drops, which means you eat more and you still never quite feel satisfied. This is not a willpower issue. This is chemistry. When your hormones are driving the bus, your willpower is just a passenger. And after 50, sleep becomes harder for many people. You wake up at 3 a.m. with a racing mind. You wake up too early and can't fall back asleep. Night sweats, bathroom trips, aches and pains, they all chip away at the deep, restorative sleep your body needs to regulate these hormones. But there's another factor I want to talk about, one that almost never comes up in weight loss conversations, and it might be the most important thing in this entire video: emotional stress that never gets fully released. Think about where you are in life right now. I mean, really think about it. Maybe you're caring for aging parents who need more and more of your time and energy. Maybe your kids are going through hard times: divorce, job loss, health issues, and you carry their pain even when you're not with them. Maybe you've lost someone in the last few years, a spouse, a close friend, a sibling. Grief doesn't have a timeline, and it lives in the body. Maybe retirement feels closer than you expected, and instead of feeling exciting, it feels uncertain. Maybe you look in the mirror, and you grieve the body you used to have, the energy you used to have, the person you felt like at 40. All of that grief, that worry, that accumulated emotional weight, it doesn't stay in your head. It moves into your body. It registers in your nervous system as a threat, and your cortisol rises in response, and your belly holds on. This is not talked about enough in weight loss conversations. We talk about food, we talk about exercise, we talk about portion sizes and step counts, but we almost never talk about the invisible weight that people in their 50s carry every single day, and how directly and powerfully it writes itself into the body. I see you, and I want you to know your struggle is real. It has a real cause, and it has real solutions. All right, let's get practical, because understanding the problem is only useful if it leads somewhere. Here are the 5 most impactful things you can do right now, starting this week, to directly address the hormonal root cause of your belly fat. Number 1, fix your sleep before you fix your diet. I know that sounds completely backwards, but here's the reality. If you are sleeping less than 6.5 hours a night, no diet on the planet will produce the results you're hoping for. Sleep is when your body regulates cortisol, repairs muscle, and resets your hunger hormones. Without it, you're fighting the battle with one hand tied behind your back. Create a consistent wind-down routine. Start dimming the lights an hour before bed. Keep your bedroom cool. Around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal for most people. Cut screens off at least 45 minutes before you plan to sleep, because the blue light from your phone or TV suppresses melatonin. And consider magnesium glycinate. It's a supplement that many people over 50 find incredibly helpful for sleep quality and muscle relaxation. As always, run it by your doctor first. Number 2, walk smarter, not harder. Here's a counterintuitive truth that might surprise you. High-intensity exercise, the kind that leaves you gasping, the kind you're forcing yourself through because you think more is better, can actually raise your cortisol even further. If your body is already in a stress state, pushing it hard is just adding more stress on top of stress. For people over 50 dealing with hormonal belly fat, gentle to moderate movement is often significantly more effective. A 30-minute walk in a park or a quiet neighborhood, especially surrounded by nature, has been shown in multiple studies to actively reduce cortisol levels. Light resistance training 2 to 3 times a week helps preserve muscle and improve insulin sensitivity. Yoga, Tai Chi, or even slow stretching can shift your nervous system from its stressed fight-or-flight state into its calm rest and digest state. The goal isn't to punish your body. The goal is to lower your cortisol, and sometimes that means doing less, not more. Number 3, add protein to every single meal. As estrogen and testosterone decline after 50, your body starts losing muscle mass faster than it did before, a process called sarcopenia. And muscle tissue is your metabolic engine. More muscle means more calories burned at rest. Less muscle means a slower metabolism, even if your weight stays exactly the same. Eating 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal is one of the most effective things you can do to preserve and rebuild muscle after 50. That's roughly the amount in 3 eggs and a cup of Greek yogurt for breakfast, a palm-sized piece of chicken or fish at lunch and dinner, a handful of cottage cheese or legumes as a snack. Protein also keeps you fuller longer, which means you're less likely to experience those hormone-driven cravings that lead to late-night snacking. It's a simple shift with a huge payoff. Number 4, give your nervous system a daily signal that you are safe. This is the one nobody talks about, and I believe it might be the most important on this entire list. Your nervous system needs regular, intentional signals that tell it the threat is over, you are okay, you are safe. Without those signals, your cortisol stays elevated all day, even when nothing actively stressful is happening. Now, that signal can look different for every person. It doesn't have to be meditation if that's not your style. It could be 5 minutes of slow, deep breathing before dinner, the kind where you breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out for 6. It could be journaling, a short prayer or devotional time, a phone call with a friend who genuinely makes you laugh, 30 minutes of gardening, a hot bath, sitting quietly on the porch, watching the evening light. The activity doesn't matter as much as the regularity and the intention. Do something every single day that tells your nervous system, I am not in danger, I am allowed to rest. That signal turns down cortisol, and turning down cortisol is the key to finally unlocking that stubborn belly fat. Number 5, have a real conversation with your doctor about your hormones. Not every doctor will bring this up on their own. In a typical 15-minute checkup, hormones often don't come up at all. But you can ask, and you should. Ask specifically about cortisol levels, thyroid function, because an underactive thyroid is far more common after 50 than most people realize, and it dramatically slows metabolism. And if appropriate for your situation, ask about bioidentical hormone replacement options. There are more options today than there were 10 years ago, and what's right for you is a personal decision you should make with real information. You deserve real answers, not just eat less and exercise more. Section 5, the deeper truth. And a warning before I close today. I want to share something with you that most health videos won't say out loud. The belly fat you're carrying after 50 is not just an appearance issue. I know that's what gets the most attention. I know that's what hurts to look at in the mirror. But I want to be real with you about the health stakes here. The fat that sits deep in the belly, wrapped around your organs, it's called visceral fat, is one of the most metabolically active and dangerous types of fat in the body. It pumps inflammatory chemicals directly into your bloodstream. It is strongly associated with increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers including colon and breast cancer, and cognitive decline including Alzheimer's disease. This is not about fitting into your old genes. This is about how many good years you have ahead of you, and how healthy and vibrant and present you get to be in them. Now here's the warning I promised you. Quick fix diets, extreme calorie restriction, crash dieting, very low-calorie meal replacements do not just fail to work after 50. They actively make the hormonal problem worse. Here's what happens when you drop your calories dramatically. Your body reads that as a famine signal. And what does a famine signal do? It spikes cortisol. Your body panics. It holds on to the belly fat even more tightly, because that visceral fat is exactly what it's designed to protect in a survival situation. At the same time, extreme calorie restriction causes you to lose muscle rather than fat, which slows your metabolism further. So now you need even fewer calories just to maintain your weight. And then when the diet ends, and they always end, the weight comes back faster and heavier than before. You end up worse off than when you started. This is the vicious cycle that millions of people over 50 are caught in right now, and they keep blaming themselves, when the real problem was always the approach, not the person. The way out of this cycle is not harder, it is not more restriction, it is smarter, it is hormonal awareness. It is working with the biological reality of your body in your 50s, not against it. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not past the point of change. You are dealing with a real documented biological shift, and now you have a real informed response to it. Let me bring everything together for you. Your belly fat after 50 is not a character flaw. It is not a lack of effort. It is a hormonal reality that most diet advice completely ignores, because most diet advice was not designed for the body you're living in right now. Cortisol is the hidden driver. It stores fat, especially in your belly, and it stays elevated longer after 50. Declining estrogen and testosterone remove your body's natural fat-burning signals. Poor sleep creates a hormonal storm that drives cravings and kills willpower. And the emotional weight you carry every day, the worry, the grief, the invisible load, registers in your body as a real physical threat. And the typical eat less, move more approach, especially when it becomes extreme, can actually make all of this worse. But here is what I want you to hold on to. When you sleep better, your cortisol comes down, and your hunger hormones reset. When you move gently and consistently, you lower stress instead of adding to it. When you eat enough protein, you preserve the muscle that keeps your metabolism strong. When you give your nervous system daily signals of safety, you interrupt the cortisol cycle. And when you advocate for yourself with your doctor, you get real information instead of generic advice. Your body has the ability to shift. It is not too late. It is actually the perfect time, because now you understand what you're working with. Now you have the right information. And information is the beginning of everything. Back to Margaret, I want to close with her. When she finally understood the hormonal piece, she stopped cutting calories and started sleeping. She switched from her hard morning power walks to gentle evening strolls in her neighborhood. She added eggs and Greek yogurt to every breakfast. She started sitting on her back porch for 10 minutes after dinner, just breathing, watching the fireflies. No pressure, no performance, just rest. In the next 4 months, she lost 11 pounds, most of it from her midsection. Her energy came back, her sleep improved further. She told her daughter she felt like herself again for the first time in years. That is available to you too, right now, starting this week. If this video helped you today, if it gave you even one aha moment, I have one simple ask. Hit that subscribe button. We put out new videos every week, designed specifically for people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. Real health information, real science, explained simply with your life in mind. And please, share this video with someone you care about who has been struggling with this same frustration. A friend, a spouse, a sibling, someone who has been blaming themselves for something that was never their fault. You might just change their health. You might just change their life. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.